Yes, sir.
And welcome back to another week of the Big Red with B. Schneid Show. We got a very special guest today, Brennan Rigsby of Minnesota, who dropped 20 points on Nebraska this past Saturday. How have you doing, Brennan?
Doing great, doing great. Especially after getting that win.
So the first thing I want to ask you before we dive into your career is what was that environment like in Nebraska compared to all the other places you've played?
I would say it's definitely in my top three for places I've played in my college career. And I would say in the Big Ten, it's up there, probably trying to compete with Michigan State. Michigan State's pretty cool environment, but I mean Pinnacle Arena, that it was packed. It was awesome. Great vibes, got loud in there. It's an awesome place to play.
Yeah, so you've talked to us about kind of going the JUCO route. I mean, you went a year playing JUCO, well, I believe in Florida. You guys won the
Yep.
JUCO national championship. And then, of course, when did you kind of tell me about that first? And then expanding on that, what was it like? When did you know you were going to be a Division I basketball player?
Yeah, I went to Northwest Florida, JUCO, and I kind of went down there because my senior year was during COVID, so didn't get a lot of recruiting. Not a lot of people knew what was kind of going on, so went down there and knew we had a pretty good team from the start. We had a lot of some Division I transfers came down to play, and just started going. And it was around, I would say around December-ish was when I started getting a lot of Power Fives knocking on the door. I had an offer from Georgia earlier in the year, and then Oregon, and then some other SECs, Big Ten or Big 12 schools were kind of talking to me. So knew I could kind of play at that level.
Jim, I got to ask, when did you think Brendan was going to be a D1 basketball player?
They've been working at this since he was in grade school. Tell us about the video you and your dad shot. You over at Quebec High, I think, when you were just
Oh yeah. The when I was like little, huh? Is that what you're
yeah,
talking about? Yeah. Yeah.
barely over knee high.
Yeah, I think so. It's funny. I had this video when I was a kid of me like dunking on some mini hoop, right? And it kind of went viral on YouTube. And like a couple years later, Geico reached out to my dad and was like, "Hey, like, would your son be willing to like do a commercial for us?" They're like, we just need you to shoot like a promo video to see if like he still would work for like our demographic or whatever. So I did this like video for Geico. It's up on YouTube somewhere where I'm in this like I think it's a Allen Iverson Nuggets jersey. I have like this headband on and I'm like doing double dribble, like two ball dribbling, I'm like just doing all the things. And I ended up not making it. I was second. I got chose second. Barely missed out on a Geico commercial, but I was that close to it. But if you've ever seen the Geico commercial, they're talking about something about auto insurance, but they're like, we taught our son to dunk, and then their son just comes out of nowhere and he like dunks on a 10-foot rim. Like I was second. I was almost there. I was second to that though.
That's awesome. I didn't know that story about him. I remember
Yeah,
seeing your highlight package back when I was in high school and you dunking on people and everything. And
yeah, yeah.
ironically, so I was in attendance at the game, obviously, and I brought a buddy along and I said, "Yeah, this is actually a relative of mine." And um, I was like, "Yeah, I really hope he has a good game." And then, of course, that happens, and we were sitting in the stands. That's crazy. So I want to ask you. Obviously, you kind of had some adversity, not just at Minnesota with injuries, but it happened to you at Oregon and everything. Kind of walk us
Yep.
through what you went through specifically this season, for an injury and everything, and how that's kind
Yeah.
of made you a better player overall.
Yeah, so I've had a couple weird ones this year, I had probably one of my better games of the year where in the preseason against Yale. And after the game, I kind of took off my shoe and my foot like ballooned up, and I didn't even know why. Just it was super swollen, and just had to go deal with a bunch of stuff like that. Where it's kind of hard to walk when foot's two sizes too big all of a sudden, and so I had to deal with that for a little bit, get my foot back, and then kind of tweaked my ankle during our Orlando tournament. And then my back got all messed up. So just dealing with a bunch of stuff. I'm getting old out here, it feels like. And so just got to deal with a bunch of that. But finally getting back, getting healthy. It's nice to be back out there.
Yeah, and I want to point out that Brennan has dropped 38 total points in the past two games. Now, correct me, I'm not for sure. Was that 20? Was that your career high in college
Yeah,
so
yeah.
far?
Yep, yep.
So,
I've gotten 19 a couple times, finally broke into the 20.
and so tell me about now with the whole Vanderbilt quarterback JUCO ruling with Diego Pavia, are you going to get another year of eligibility? And if so, do you think you're going to pursue another year of college basketball?
Yeah, I was actually just talking to my academic advisor about that today. Just talking about if there was any paperwork stuff I had to get done, and so I definitely think I'll definitely try and pursue another year. I think it's a great opportunity to either figure out what I'm trying to do. Would love to be here again and just get another year down.
Yeah, and I mean Minnesota, I mean I know you guys kind of lost a heartbreaker to Wisconsin last night. But you guys had won three straight after the Nebraska win. So you guys have kind of been on a good stretch going. I think you guys got a lot of chemistry and I'm not so sure on your guys' roster, but I don't, do you guys return a lot going in the next year?
No, we do lose a lot. I think we had like 10 plus seniors. There was a lot of us, but there's a couple of us that like me, I have this extra year coming back. We have a couple good young core guys, and then one of our seniors, he got hurt before the season started and he had to have season ending surgery. So he'll be back. He's a great player. And so we can have a kind of good core around.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the net rankings and everything, I believe you guys should be in the Big Ten tournament the way it's
Yeah, yeah, I think
looking right
so.
now. So obviously, I mean, it's a tough path to get there, but you guys win the Big Ten tournament, you guys are in.
For sure.
And I think is that kind of obviously that's your guys' approach right now. I mean, w win that tournament and we're in. I know you guys had some losses at the beginning of the year, it kind of hurt you and everything, but you guys are playing good basketball right now, and the opposite of what Nebraska's done. Nebraska, I mean, they have, I believe, four quad one wins, but they're falling
Mhm.
apart. So
Yeah, I mean, I saw that Nebraska lost a really tough one against Ohio State. I think that went like double OT, so that one's a heartbreaker for them. But I mean, yeah, I feel like I know it's gonna be hard, I think it's gonna have to be 5 games in 5 days basically. So it's gonna be a tough one, but I mean, NC State did it last year. There's been teams to do it before. So, we just gotta be part of that small group.
yeah, and then I also want to ask, so you've played in the old Pac-12 at Oregon, and then you've played now in the new Big Ten with, of course,
Yeah.
Oregon in it and the
Mhm.
West Coast teams. What do you think is a better basketball conference after playing a year at Oregon and then, or a couple years at Oregon? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
two,
and
two.
then this year at Minnesota.
I mean, as much as I don't want to diss the Pac-12, I mean, Big Ten, they just love basketball. It's a little more out here. You go anywhere, they're packing out the house. It doesn't matter what standings are. They just love it a little more out than the West Coast. I think Pac-12 probably will get revived here soon enough, but I think just the way Big Ten just loves sports in general, it's just different beast.
Tell us about, you've played in March Madness. What is that environment like for a college athlete playing in it?
I mean, I think it's just one of those things. It's almost like a dream come true when you get out there. You get the big March Madness sign out there. You're playing on the court. You're playing in bigger arenas. And it's just a different atmosphere just in total. You got um it's only one shot. You can't lose no more games and live bullets only really. So got to get to it and it's just a great time.
Jim, I'm going to give you some time. I got some more questions, but do you have anything you want to ask Brennan while on the air?
I didn't get to watch the game. I got to listen to it. But so now that I can see it, can you show me the wave you did?
The goodbye.
Yeah, there
And
you
the
go. I
and
just wanted
the
to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
and the shush.
That one didn't go well with the people in the arena when I told them to quiet.
But well, I've told people this. When you're when you can back it up as you did, that means a lot. It's one thing to have that one guy
For sure.
come off the bench and hit a three and do something and then shoot 0 for 5. But I mean, you came in and you shifted the game completely. I mean, you guys were had a 18-point lead at one point, I believe was the highest lead. And then
Yep.
you guys blow that lead. And then you hit those clutch shots. Now walk me through at the end of the game, Nebraska takes a lead with 9 seconds left. When you released
Yeah.
that shot, did you know it was going in?
For sure, for sure. I mean, so what's funny is like I actually messed up the play before. Like I should have rebounded. I didn't box out my guy. He got the board and laid it up. And so that was all my fault. And as soon as it went in, I was just like, damn, well, we got to go get one now. Like I got to go get it. And so we were going kind of coming up the court. My guy stepped up and I was just wide open. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is the type of shots that I work on. And as soon as I released it, it felt great. I was like, oh, yeah, that's in. That's in. Got it to roll in. And yeah.
Now, I know you kind of can't necessarily get into this too much, but I'd assume most of your guys' game plan, especially on the defensive end, was take away Bryce Williams. I mean, he dropped 43 at Ohio State, broke Nebraska
Yeah.
scoring record, and that is Nebraska right now. They can play tough defense, but they don't have any scores. A season here and there, he had a couple shots against you guys, but that really, you guys taking him out at times was really the deciphering factor, and that's how you guys got that big lead. But from what did you score it on Nebraska's defense? I mean, you got good guys guarding you, Jawan Gary, of course, Bryce
Mhm.
Williams. I mean, that where do you think they rank in the Big Ten as a defensive team?
I mean, they play a different type of defense too. They like to send you baseline, and then once you go baseline, they send like three guys at you. So it's a different type of defense, compared to a lot of them. But it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there. It's hard defense to score against. The one nice thing is if you can get baseline and can make that skip pass, it gets them into rotation. So that helps you out a lot, get into some open shots. And that's kind of what got me going a little early is got into rotation, got a couple shots early to get down and just kind of started from there. But I mean, to answer the question about the defensive side, I mean, yeah, I mean Bryce, he's a great player. I mean, all Big Ten type of player. You could see it dropping 43. That's that's pretty hard to do in any game. So I mean, a season, he can really shoot it. Jawan Gary's no joke either. He's a big body. He can get downhill, and so they got a good overall team. I think they just had a couple heartbreaking losses. They're not. I wouldn't say they're anything anything to worry about. They're going to be a hard team to get out in the Big Ten tournament.
Well, and that's kind of what I've been telling people is that I really think the Big Ten Conference is going to make a big run in the NCAA tournament. I know the SEC right now is supposed, a lot of people think they're the top conference. You know, they got Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, you name it, a lot of teams up there at the top 25. But you look at the Big Ten, any team can win. I mean, you guys, I believe, 15 and 15 currently, and you guys have beat some of the best teams in the conference. I believe you guys won at Ohio State, right? Or am I incorrect?
No, no, we won at the LA schools.
Oh yeah, you went out there and won, and
Yep.
then or was it Michigan? Or you
Yeah,
guys
we
beat?
beat Michigan
Yeah,
at
you guys
home. We
beat
beat Michigan
Michigan,
at home.
and
Yeah.
obviously Michigan's one of the best teams in the Big Ten. So I
hmm
really maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I really think that the Big Ten. That's why I see Minnesota being a team that they've been playing hot as of late. I mean, you guys lose a close one to Wisconsin. I could see Minnesota making it a big run.
Yeah, I mean, I think any team in the Big Ten can make a run anytime. Like everybody can everybody can beat anybody any day. The SEC is a good conference, but might be a little biased, but I definitely give the nod to the Big Ten. There's just up and down the conference from the bottom to the top. It's a tough team after a tough team. Can't go to sleep.
So you being from the Grand Junction area growing up, you go to Florida, then to Oregon, now to Minnesota. So you've been in all different kinds of climates, from rain constantly, humid weather, freezing
Yo,
cold. You grew up in Colorado. Where do you prefer out of all those places?
man, I think the the Florida weather was perfect. You can't get better than that. Like, especially I was kind of more in the coast area, so it didn't get crazy hot in the summer. Still got hot, but not as crazy as Central Florida. But I mean, out here it's pretty nice in the spring, summer. It got pretty cold there during the winter, but probably have to give the nod to Florida.
You got something to say, Jim?
Yeah, Minneapolis gets pretty damn cold in the winter.
Yeah, no. One day I woke up, I think it was -17 or something like that. I was like, oh, it's too cold. It's too
When I
cold.
first went to first visit to Minneapolis, all those crosswalks that are downtown, there's a
hmm
reason for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
you don't go outside the building.
no, you get, yeah, no. Once it gets
On the
wintertime,
sidewalk.
you can't.
No, it'll kill
That
you.
that's a reason Jim's a snowbird now
Yep,
Yes.
yep.
in his retirement years. But I do want to. So I might be wrong on this, but didn't you had a brother that competed college track, right?
Yeah, cousin.
So cousin, okay. So
Yep.
in the family, who's the best athlete in the Rigsby family?
Oof.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't get to really see my parents and my uncles in their heyday. So maybe they got something to, say. I think, to be real with you, pound for pound, I'd have to give it to Gunner. Gunner, my cousin, he was a track athlete. He was about 5'10", 5'11" on a good day maybe, and I've seen him do some crazy stuff just on the basketball court, on the track and field side of things. He's just one of the best athletes I've ever seen with my eyes.
And
Well,
he's a hot
that
dog.
You said what? You said
He's
what?
a hot dog.
Oh
He
yeah,
hot
oh yeah,
dogs it.
for
Yeah.
sdon't
You still cheering for Oregon volleyball?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I want
Got
to
my
hear.
missus.
Okay.
yeah. Don't you have a girlfriend playing there or something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, I did want to ask you. Obviously, you can't comment on numbers and everything, but I'm curious. You've done it. What is the transfer portal like?
It's a wild thing. One of the best analogies I've heard from a coach actually told me. He was like, it's almost like speed dating in the sense of like, you know, the transfer portal, it's only open for, I mean, I think only like 6 weeks-ish, I want to say. I could be wrong, but it's around that time. And, usually when you're getting recruited, JUCO or high school, it's years sometimes, months, it's a lot of time. And you get 6 weeks to try to make a decision. And sometimes you make it within three, four. And he was just like, it's like speed dating. You got all these coaches calling you, texting you. I mean, as soon as my name got put in the database, I didn't even know it yet. And I had college coaches calling me. They're like, hey, this is, blah, blah, blah from Toledo. Hey, we'd like to recruit you. And then next thing you know, I'm on the phone still. And then another call is ringing my phone. Like, you know what I mean? Like it can get wild. You get a lot of calls within a short period of time.
Yeah, Nebraska. They don't bring in any recruits out of high school that many anymore. They build their roster off the
No.
portal, and I think there's some pros and cons to that both. I mean, they had a veteran team, but I am curious. Did Nebraska ever contact you?
No, no, I didn't get any calls from Nebraska. Nothing crazy, but yeah, no, I think the transfer portal, it's a weird thing. It's a double-edged sword, because I think it's nice for players to be able to, transfer whenever, but I think at the same time, like it can get weird because it's like a new team every year. It's never the same group core guys, It's always a new group in today's basketball.
Yeah. So, okay, Brennan, talk to us. Let's say you're probably going to play another year of college basketball.
Sure,
Are
for
your
sure.
plans to shoot for the stars and make it pro?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've always wanted to do that, always dreamed of that, so definitely gonna try and make that a reality.
Let's say the you don't start in the NBA. Would you be open to going overseas? I know a lot of players do that, play in Europe,
Yeah, no,
Australia.
I would just love to go play wherever they think I'm best suited for, if they got a vision for me, down to play.
And also, so we know Brennan as the basketball player who dropped 20 on Nebraska, broke the hearts of Husker fans. What is Brennan Rigsby outside of basketball?
I mean, outside of basketball, I'm really just most of the time chilling, playing the game. Trying to get this schoolwork done. That's the one nice thing is hopefully I can graduate pretty soon and next year will be a breeze for school, so I can just kind of focus on basketball. But just playing the game with some of my friends, and yeah, that's about really it.
Yeah, well, everybody be sure to, I believe Brennan's handle is right here, Bren Riggs. That's your social media
Yep.
handle. Everybody give him a follow on his social media page. Shoot us some comments towards Brennan's way, and be following him with Minnesota going into the Big Ten tournament. I really do think they can make a run. And as Brennan pointed out, Nebraska's got some work to do on the offensive end next season because they don't have any score other than Bryce and Connor Essegian. So, any last remarks, Jim?
Yeah, let's just kind of all say goodbye.
I guess so. I guess so. We gotta say
Yeah.
bye,
Well,
huh?
anyway, thank you all for listening. And thank you, Brendan, again for coming on. We really appreciate you making time. We know you have a busy schedule with everything.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all.